Hey, what's up, everybody? BDR 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so the Los Angeles Lakers begin their 2-game road stand, which is very strange, in San Antonio tonight. Two 5 o'clock matchups back to back, so be ready for tomorrow. We'll have a duplicate situation. Basically, I might as well just leave this video for both because the matchups are literally going to be the exact same. But no, we won't do that. We'll treat it like it's a playoff matchup. Or a play-in tournament matchup or whatever the heck kind of thing this would be. So this is what it is. San Antonio Spurs, when you're going up against a team like this, obviously you know they don't want to win. We're in their building though, so maybe they do want to win. Maybe they'll use this game as a game to try to get them back on track in terms of their confidence, seeing ball fall, that kind of thing, because they've been struggling shooting the ball, especially a guy by the name of Keldon Johnson. Now, me personally, I thought Keldon was doing that on purpose, shooting as poorly as he was. I think he was 1 for 10 from behind the arc against us just 2 games ago when we seen this team last. As a result of him shooting that poorly, he put us in a position to get a very easy win. They didn't have Jakob Poeltl down there, and as a result, Anthony Davis was able to go off completely, and he's going completely off every game, it seems. Over the last 4 games, he's been doing things that are just unbelievable. And against the Phoenix Suns, even though the Los Angeles Lakers did not win, he went off for 37 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 21 rebounds. That was 5 blocks, 5 steals, 2 assists is what I should have said. I think it was 14 to 15 free throw shooting, I believe that was. And it was 11 for 17 from the field. So this type of numbers he did against Phoenix, against very good centers that they had down there. So I can only imagine that Jakob Poeltl and Bassi and Sohan and those guys are in for a long night with Anthony playing like this. We also got Thomas Bryant down there playing very well for our team. So very happy to have him back as a center, playing some really, really good basketball, efficient basketball. But he didn't get a lot of minutes in this last game, which was a little troubling to me. But nevertheless, we talked a great deal about that game, the Phoenix games particularly, and how certain players played well, and maybe we didn't see them enough. Other guys didn't play as much, and maybe we saw them too much. The Ofer Gophers. That was the theme of the game as well, man. We had 4 guys who played and just did not score the basketball for us, didn't accumulate a whole lot of statistics. We just want to see more scoring accounted for. When you lose by 10 and you have 4 guys that don't score, that if they would have just done the minimal in the scoring column, it could have made up the difference. So that's what I see there. Dennis Schroeder, Wenyen Gabriel in very limited minutes, Troy Brown, and Patrick Beverly just did not contribute, and they were the Ofer Gophers for that particular game. So we just want our coach not to lean on Gophers, man. If those guys are going to have struggling type of games like that, all their minutes should look like Wenyen Gabriel's. Wenyen had 7 minutes. That's, if you can't score the basketball and you're not able to contribute in other areas, then you shouldn't be on the floor. So I want to see us kind of get back to what works for us. Obviously, against Phoenix, we didn't have a whole lot of control over 2 things that were really important. The 3-point line, 4 for 22. We completely took a lot of steps backwards, and I think part of that is because we were incorporating Dennis Schroeder back into the lineup, and he doesn't really have some of those concerns about 3-point shooting deficiencies that the team had when we were struggling the first couple of games. Everybody who was on the floor remembers how bad we were shooting the ball. He was in street clothes, so I'd imagine it's not the same dynamic. He's going to have to learn to fear the 3-point line as it pertains to shooting too many and bricking a lot, like the rest of us. What else do we want to say about that particular matchup? Turning the ball over 17 times is never going to be good. I think a lot of that had to do with the personnel in the Phoenix Suns. But nevertheless, we need to take care of the basketball much more if we want to have some success tonight. Truth of the matter is, that's probably not the case. The reality is you could probably play a lot worse and still win, because this is the San Antonio Spurs, and they don't want to win anything. What they want to do is basically draft Victor Wembanyama. And the only way they're going to do that is if they lose as many games as humanly possible, because they got to keep down with the rest of the teams who are doing the same thing. Instead of saying keep up, we're keeping down. So that is what it is. I'd expect that this should be a game that we can put our foot on the gas and basically win the game. And do the same thing tomorrow too. That's the reality of it. This team should not be a problem on either night if we do what we're supposed to do. Now, the key to this is not playing down to the level of the opponent and understanding that they do have players that can play very well. So don't think for a second you can come out and half play and get full results. It's not going to work. Devin Vassell, a player that has been kind of dealing with injuries, was a player I didn't mention much in the game previous as I was leading up to it. It turned out that he was playing in that game. I thought he was going to miss it. Well, there's no question about where his status is at this point. It's 100%. He's the guy that was playing very well in the previous game for them. And when I say the guy, I didn't have nobody else playing well. And it was one of those situations where you know that he's just getting rounding back into form. And I think the upside for Devin Vassell is ridiculously high. I think he could actually be one of the premier 3-and-D guys as he fully develops. It's that serious. And it's not only 3-and-D, it's really a combination of just about everything. And his specialty is shooting the 3 ball. So when you consider what his upside is, I don't want to start throwing out names I have no business saying, but he can be very special. And the fact that he has that role in San Antonio is pretty much, it's a gimme between him and Jakob Poeltl and Keldon Johnson of whose team it's going to be. Obviously, Trey Jones is coming up strong, but it's nobody's team. They're hoping it'll be Victor's team. So as far as I can tell, Devin Vassell's in prime position this year to continue to strive in the right direction. And given the fact that he helps you on both sides of the floor, I look at him as an extremely valuable piece in this league. So as he continues to develop and show us where he's at, I don't think it'll be long before he starts tacking up personal accolades like all-star teams and stuff like that. I think he's that good. It may take 2 or 3 more years before the winning to start piling up for that team, but as they start getting pieces around him, I think he'll step forward as one of the most important pieces on that squad. So I would tell them to make sure they have Devin Vassell's money. Do that. Don't look at him as somebody you should let go. If you happen to want to let him go, send him to the Lakers. Please do that. But I wouldn't do that if I were San Antonio. In fact, he would be the one player that I would not let go of. It would be him. So I just want to throw that out there. Another player that I really, really like on the San Antonio team is a guy by the name of Jeremy Sohan. Pink hair, Dennis Rodman type guy. Definitely somebody who they're trying to develop into a perimeter defender and a big body power forward who could rebound the ball and do some things for them. I don't know if he can stretch the floor at all or not. I really don't know. But this is definitely somebody that can develop into a high-level defensive player. He's a lottery pick from this season, a rookie that, when he's been healthy, and I know it's a strange thing to say because it's only been, 3 weeks of a season, but he started off playing really, really well, got hurt, and is now starting to ramp it back up again. So this is around the time that I expect Jeremy Sohan's numbers to kind of increase again. His rebound, his points, his steals, stuff like that. I expect him to start playing well, particularly right now against us. So we need to be very careful with him. Bassie, that's another player that we've mentioned a lot. Kind of came out of nowhere, one of those guys where I don't know if he was undrafted or G League. I don't really know, but he came out of nowhere, and with the minutes given, has just shown us he has extraordinary help statistical ability. Help statistics meaning everything but scoring. He can rebound like crazy, he can block shots like crazy, and he can get some assists too. And he's a big body center, so that's a very intriguing piece. If he can put his scoring together, this is going to be somebody that you really have to deal with. So, I'm always intrigued by guys who can do everything but score, and it looks like he might be profiled that way. So yeah, be interested in learning what Bassie can do for them. Like I said, Jakob Poeltl will be back tonight. He was in the last game, played well from what I saw. I think he played pretty well against, who was it that they played? I don't know who that was they played. I probably already mentioned, but my mind's gone blank. But whoever it is they played against, I think it was the Pelicans. Yeah, Jakob did all right. But, given the fact he's going up against Zion and those guys, they were just outclassed. BI, from what I understand, they just outclassed the heck out of San Antonio as expected. And we should be able to do the same thing. From what I understand, LeBron James is rumored to either be coming back tonight or tomorrow. He's questionable for this game. And it's the right way to go. You want him to come back in a game like this, in matchups like these, where he can take shots. He can kind of find himself going 2 for 9 or something like that. and you may still have a chance to win the basketball game just out of the sheer understanding that the San Antonio Spurs don't want to win. So, I expect him and Schroeder to both be out there hoisting up shots, trying to find their rhythm. Oh, for Gophers, this is when those guys are supposed to be getting minutes to see if they can shake off the rust. I want Troy Brown to get his minutes. I want, obviously, Walker to continue to, work in his stride. But there will be no Patrick Beverly out there to take minutes from guys because, of course, we know Pat is out for 3 games for the pushing incident. So that's one of those situations where that's addition by subtraction for us. These are 3 games that we expect to win, even though the Pacers, we'll talk about them later, they've been playing well. I've been saying that they're not G League, but a tanking team, and they should be, but just like Utah, they ain't losing. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in that regard. So when we get to them, we'll talk about them. But as for the meantime, these two Spur games we should get. And even though we're on the road and you got to go through your different routines and all of that stuff could make it so that guys don't come in playing well, at the end of the day, I expect the Spurs to try to lose. But you got to take the temperature of a game like this, man, because just like we said about the first game we saw against them, you don't know when they're going to choose to want to win. That's the thing about tanking teams. You don't know. They might say, okay, this is the one we want, because they're not going to lose every game. So there are going to be some games where they're going to want to be competitive. There's going to be some games where they're going to want to showcase who they're going to want to trade. And in that, they may want to play well and win. So you got to be careful. They may want to try to see if they can squeeze in a big game out of Jakob Poeltl tonight, or squeeze in a big game out of Keldon Johnson since he's been struggling, just out of the sheer notion that those guys have been struggling. So, yeah, with Devin Vassell back, Sohan getting healthier, that sort of thing, I can see them causing trouble. Trey Jones, obviously a player we talk about a lot, somebody you have to account for both with steals and assists all day long. He goes stretch the floor too. He's going to get some points, but mostly he's going to do things that make other people better and then take the ball away from you. So you got to be very aware of Trey Jones, because him, Devin Vassell, those guys are great defensive players. And see, that's what it is. Like San Antonio, they don't play like they're going to play because all these guys are new. They're all young. They don't have, stars. There's nothing going on yet. But what I'm telling you is, Trey Jones is a defender, Bassey's a defender, Sohan's a defender, Poeltl's a defender, Keldon Johnson's a defender. Like, they're choosing not to play defense as a team, but they have defensive players. So if they decide they want to play defense, it shouldn't be a problem. Essentially what I'm saying. I don't think they play good team defense. From what I understand and what I read, they were blowing a lot of assignments and stuff like that. That's where they struggle. But if they want to teach defense, if Pop wants to lean in on saying, okay, we're going to turn it to a good defensive team, they don't have to go far to get that production. And so that's what I'm saying. You don't want to be pedestrian against talented players. Just because they don't want a talented system, just because they're not trying to win, doesn't mean that they don't have the ability on this night to make you look foolish for not taking them seriously. And that's exactly what I don't want to happen. These are trap games for the Lakers. We are not a good team. Okay, we're a team that's playing better, but we got O for Gophers on this squad. So there will be no foregone conclusion that we're just going to walk out of here and win. No, I think the Lakers should have intent on continuing to feed Anthony Davis and working good habits in regards to LeBron James shooting. If he's going to come in and jacking up three-point shots in the same way that he did in the last game, I'm going to be looking at Darvin Ham. I'm going to be looking at Darvin Ham to do the impossible. And the impossible is to coach LeBron James away from some of those bad tendencies, man. You're one of the toughest people in the league. We know that. One of the most respected people in the league. If LeBron James is to be a problem for what it is that you are trying to run, he needs to be disciplined or spoken to, or whatever the right way to term it. He's going to have to be coached, man. He's going to have to be coached. And I ain't saying I'd want to do it, but I'm saying that Darvin Ham's being paid to do it. And if LeBron James is going 0 for 5, he's going to have to coach the man. He's going to have to coach him. You know what I mean? Straight up. So that's what it is. And that's the problem that I have with, I don't know if I'm wording it right because I haven't thought it all the way through, but I just think we have an energy about us that doesn't want to hold LeBron James accountable. And I'm not with it. Y'all know BDF 44 ain't with it. And it ain't because I got bad energy for Braun or because I'm a hater with Braun or nothing like that. It's just because I truly understand where there are certain things that he does that he can do better, that can help our team be better. And I just think that we're quick to jump on Kendrick Nunn, quick to jump on Damian Jones, quick to jump on Russell Westbrook, quick to jump on Anthony Davis, but hesitant about Braun. And I just think it's because of respect. I think it's because of status. And I think it gets in the way. I think respect and status gets in the way of communication in this case. I don't need to be respecting status right now. I can do that when we're trying to do something else. When we're trying to celebrate LeBron James, I can say, man, 20 years. 20 years. But this is right now. We're talking about right now. And he's just one of these 15 people. And as one of these 15 people, I got to look at him like, "Lo, get in line, bro, just like everybody else." And that's how we're going to win. That's how we're going to win. If he gets in line like everybody else, then we can be a good team. But as long as he's LeBron James and everybody else is something else, we can't win that way, bro. We cannot win that way. I grew up watching the Spurs as one of our top ops. They behaved that way. Hall of Famers was coming off the bench. Hall of Famers was taking less money. Hall of Famers was winning championships. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I respect them. I remember a time before LeBron James when Kobe and Timmy was and KG and those guys was running things, and it's just like, look, you got to fall in line. Them dudes had to fall in line too. In order to win, they had to fall in line. And just like that, it's going to have to be that for LeBron James right now. We got a guy on this team, and Anthony Davis, is playing the absolute best basketball we've seen him play in our uniform. That's the most important thing we can do for ourselves, is keeping him playing at that level for a plethora of reasons. And I need LeBron James, who's capable of playing at an even higher level than that, to let this man continue to play at the level he's on and to continue to empower him to be that guy. It only works if LeBron James is fully committed. Because the only way this even happens is if LeBron James is sitting down. And we can't win with him sitting down, and we can't win with AD playing like he plays when LeBron James is on the floor. All that got to be revamped. And it starts with LeBron James' commitment to the offensive side of the ball and what he's willing and not willing to do. It starts tonight. LeBron James is coming back to a different basketball team than the one he left. The one he left was a struggling team with players that needed to get off of it. Those same players have found their confidence since he's left, and they're better now. He's the only guy that we're wondering about at this point, believe it or not. Everybody else is either settled into their roles, or working their way back in like Schroeder and Bryant, or comfortably put in place to where they're not going to hurt us anymore. Like literally. He's the only piece left. And so it's just going to be on him to come back and fit in, man. Fit in as the number 2 until we can figure out how best to let you be number 1 while Anthony Davis still give us this here. Because we don't know how to do that. We just don't know how. We ain't figured out how to let Anthony look like this and let LeBron James take the same amount of use, have the same usage. It just doesn't work. We need Bron to force feed Anthony Davis just like Russell Westbrook does, and we need to have LeBron James let Russell Westbrook control more of the basketball as it pertains to letting other guys get involved, because that pace, that instant pace that Russell plays with is unique. It ain't the same pace that Bron played with, and guys are feeding off of it, and we need to utilize it. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's a different pace. It's an entirely different animal that we can use to get guys attacking in different rhythms. A very unique rhythm that is very difficult for the defense to keep up with. I'm telling you, when Russell gets the ball in his hands, everybody scores faster. Everybody scores a tick faster than what you're supposed to be scoring. It's like you got to really be up there with him in order to know the ball's coming, you got to be ready for it type thing. So it's like, with LeBron James, he does it. It's not like that. It's a different pace. It's an entirely different methodical pace. And so we need to allow for the usage of both of those paces so that we can give the defense 2 different types of looks. That's what I'm saying to you. And if the focal point of both of those looks are to feed Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis's numbers are sky high. Russell Westbrook and LeBron James's assist numbers are sky high. And the Los Angeles Lakers are winning basketball games because can't nobody stop that. They can't stop that. And that's what we need. We need LeBron James and Russell Westbrook to be hell-bent on feeding others. Feeding Davis. If we do that, we're going to win a lot of games, man. And then it's just about Anthony Davis staying healthy. And he already has a passion for playing through pain, which people need to acknowledge. I'm acknowledging it. He's not sitting as much as you would otherwise see him sit if he were, somebody else who's trying to nurse their injuries and stuff like that. Nah, he's not. He's trying to play through injuries. And so we got to respect that and just let him play, man. Let him play and protect him from himself with balance. So that's what I want to say about that, man. Austin Reeves, continue being aggressive, sir. Scoring the basketball, hitting the three-point shot. It's been falling all season long. He's well on his way to doing good things, man. We just got to continue to empower him. With Patrick Beverly being out, this should be a perfect opportunity for him to continue to take steps forward. He, too, must be in love with getting the ball to Anthony Davis. It should be ever so important for our facilitators, and he's definitely one of them, to be looking for Anthony Davis. Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker's playing so great for us. Couldn't be more happy with him. We just need him to continue to be on the pace he's on. Efficiency is key for him. The three-point shot, we expect him to go usually 2 for 5 or something like that. But getting into the lane, scoring and everything else, efficiency, man. So I don't want him to change up anything at all. Just stay healthy and keep doing what you're doing, man. And Dennis Schroeder, man, that was the 0 for gopher that I had forgotten about. You guys watch my video. There was one more gopher. I don't know why I didn't mention him as a gopher, and I think it was because I thought he had scored a bucket. But he didn't. I think it was like 0 for 6 or something like that. 0 for 3 from behind the arc. So, yeah. Dennis Schroeder, obviously this is a game where you want him to get in his rhythm. You don't want him to be bashful. You don't want him to worry about the last game. You want him to take these throwaway basketball matchups as an opportunity for him and Bron to just get back in rhythm. You know what I mean? Literally that. So that's ultimately what I'm hoping our team does. Some of these guys like Troy Brown who've been bricking shots, I want to see them get in rhythm. I want to see them get back into seeing the ball fall. Wenyen Gabriel must have more minutes than 7 minutes. I don't know what the heck we're doing. Who are you trusting? If it ain't the tall player that gives you the size that helps complement other players on the floor that I often have issues with finding pieces that help complement them on the floor. And clearly we got to use those players to our advantage, man. Wenyen Gabriel is a player that should be on the floor with Russell Westbrook just about every time Russell's on the floor. We know that. So let's use Wenyen like it makes sense. Let's use Thomas Bryant like it makes sense. I know Anthony Davis is going crazy out there in the front court. You don't want to clog the lane. You don't want to do too much. But we did bring in Thomas Bryant so that he could play the 4. So that Anthony Davis could slip to the 4 and not have to play the 5 so much. So we got to let these big guys play for this reason. Got to do it, man. So that's something that needs to be said. Still no words from Max Christie. I guess this health and safety protocol situation for his is going to stretch out longer than usual. It's so irritating. I would love for this to be behind us, man. So that's all I can really say for that. It's out of our control. We just continue to adjust. What else? What else is going on, man? That's really where my head's at in regards to this team, you know. I've been pleased with Russell Westbrook in regards to turnovers. He only had 1 in the last game. I know a lot of what went wrong was his fault, and I just chose to look at it a certain way because I felt like in saying it was his fault, I felt he was doing the right things and he just wasn't getting the calls. You know, a lot of what went wrong were transition buckets heading the other way because he missed layups. Well, he was missing layups because he was getting clobbered. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you do accuse Russell Westbrook of being somebody that often doesn't look to finish when he's driving. He's more so looking to get the call. And so that's what I would just tell Russell Westbrook. Where we get our best from you is not just that you're attacking the rim, but that you're finishing when you do so. The call may not come. Certain nights, the refs are not going to be on our side. We can't count on them to bail us out. The only thing we can truly count on is our efficiency. So let's make sure that ball falls. Um, that's really what I tell them. That's really all you can do. Make sure you're looking for the ball to connect on every chippy. That's what we're doing. We eating out there. The San Antonio Spurs are a team. As I said, doesn't play defense well, but as defensive players, we should be able to attack them just fine, man. Doug McDermott is a player who's questionable tonight, rolled ankle. Josh Richardson is doubtful tonight. I believe he has a rolled ankle or something like that. So no Richardson, which means we're going to see double the Devin Vassell, essentially. That's what you will be seeing tonight. Yeah, Jones, Vassell, Sohan, yeah, and Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson only got 16 minutes in the last game, which makes me wonder about my theory. It's like maybe he really is struggling in real life, and if that's the case, boy, he needs some coaching. Pop, how is this kid shooting 1 for 10 in the game? Like, I refuse to believe that. I honestly think he was tanking for real. And if he's that bad on his worst day, then that's a bad contract, low key. And I do like Keldon Johnson. 4 years, 80-something, that's not a bad contract. But that can't be his floor. What we saw against the Lakers cannot be his floor, in my humble opinion. That was some of the worst basketball I'd seen. I thought he was doing it on purpose. That's how bad it was. I didn't even get on his case, because I automatically thought that he was just tanking for his team. But then when I look in the next game and see he only got 17 minutes, it's like they punished him for shooting that bad. I'm like, damn, he was really that bad? I'm like, oh, man. So I'm going to be looking for Keldon Johnson tonight through a different lens. Because I've seen him play well, but when a guy struggles as bad as he looked out there, I thought he was throwing the game on purpose. I really, really believe that. Like, that's how bad he looked. So, yeah, man. That's one of those situations where a bad team is just going to be bad, and things are going to just be as they are. So I'm just glad that our team is starting to shake off some of those tendencies. That's what we speak against. We want, our players to be mindful of the shots that they take. Don't go 1 for 10, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't let that happen. Attack the inside. If you start going 1 for 6, 1 for 7, obviously we don't want to shoot the 3. Them first couple of games that we had, well, we went 3 for 46 or whatever it was. That scared us. Understanding the importance of not looking that way. We were historically bad. We were breaking records the way we were shooting. So, with that type of stuff, if Keldon was on our team, we would never have stopped talking about how poor his shot selection was. So that's what I want to talk about. Let's keep our shot selection high. We have a couple guys on our team that have struggles with that. Let's make sure that we continue to coach up our shot selection. That 4 for 22 took some real steps back in that Phoenix game. So I know we're on the road. I know that it was an entirely different type of situation, but we got to up our efficiency from behind the arc, or continue to lower our attempts to fit the efficiency of the moment in game adjustments. That's big for us. I thought we rebounded pretty well in this last game against Phoenix. I thought that was a point of emphasis. We knew we were not a better rebounding team than them based on our size situation, no Bron. But they only beat us by 4 on the rebounding total. And, they had like 50-something. We had 50-something. So that's really good. You want to see your team rebound like that, especially against good rebounding teams. So tonight, Jakob Poeltl back, Bassie out there, Keldon's a rebounder. So they have rebounders as well. Sohan. We're going to have to continue to crash the glass to continue to find success. If we lose on the boards, it's going to make for a close game, a very unnecessarily close game. So let's continue to box out, man. We have some really, really talented rebounding non-bigs. Guys like Russell Westbrook, Austin Reeves. These guys rebound the ball very well from their position. I want to see them continue to crash the glass because we rely upon them to do that. Anthony Davis, of course, has been eating up glass as well. I don't know where this has come from, because one of my concerns with Anthony Davis over the years has been he doesn't rebound well, that he just doesn't translate. But right now, he's gobbling up everything. Even against good rebounders, he's gobbling up everything. So I just want to continue to see him express his talent on that side of the ball, because I didn't know it was there, honestly. I knew he could accumulate numbers, but the consistency that he's starting to rebound with is impressing me. So that's what I want to see continue. And I want to see it turn into some wins, damn it. No more 0 for Gophers. This is on coach. That last game, as I talked about greatly, was on coach because he didn't put the right players on the floor, and Anthony Davis had that historic win number line, and we still got the loss. So that should not have ever happened. We want to lean on players that can help us, and we want to make good in-game adjustments that send players down that cannot. Simply put. And so that's what it is, man. Going up against a Popovich-led team tonight, so don't expect them to just roll over, even though I kind of do based on their circumstances. At any moment, they could be competitive, and they got 2 games at home against a team they should consider a bad Laker team, so they probably would like to make one of them a win, so we should expect them to try to make both of them a win and try to kill them in both of those games. And also, because it's a back-to-back at the same building, I don't want this game to be 48 minutes or overtime and no crap like that. Blow this team out, have this game be over by the third quarter, and let's allow for more rest for Bron and AD and Westbrook and all of our players. That is what I would hope would happen tonight, that this game will be over by halftime, and then we could play tomorrow's game, and it will too be over by halftime. We have a smooth sailing, healthy trip out of San Antonio, because that's most important. You're playing against a bad team, you get out of there healthy. We're not diving on the floor like it's a playoff game tonight. This team does not want to win. Manage your energy in balance and stay healthy, because that is the utmost importance. Just don't get hurt in a game like this. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Of course, I'll have something for you at the end of this basketball game and at halftime, as I always do. And that is the end of this particular video. Everybody enjoy the game. My name is BDL44. Thank you all for watching.